Way We Were, where we revisit the past to understand how the ebb and flow of popular culture shapes the way we are. Only on The Podcaster. The Way We Were, where we unearth a thread of continuity in cinema, music, art, culture, society, and politics to discover the connection to each other.
Hi, this is Rima, and I'm back again with the Way We Were, and just wanted to start this podcast with a question. Have you watched Lapata Ladies? And if you haven't, please do. The film is playing right now on Netflix, and it stars Nitanshi Goyal, Pratibha Ranta, Sparsh Srivastav, Chaya Kadam, Ravi Kishan. And no, it has no similarity with Tagore's Nauka Dubi, apart from the basic premise of two misplaced brides. The film also reminded me of the good old days of wholesome cinema, the kind of cinema that made your heart really, really happy. And it had a few moments that took me back to Hrishikesh Mukherjee's Jurmana, which came out in 1975. And there is a sequence in that film where a heartbroken Rakhi leaves her Ungta Pinakta town, a very small town in other words, and survives a train crash to end up at a sleepy railway station and doesn't know what to do with herself. And then she runs into the station master, played by Asrani, who offers her shelter for the night and soothes her anxiety by saying something to this effect. दुनिया में एक और भी रिश्ता होता है भाई और बहन का. And she ends up staying with him, learns music from his uncle, becomes a popular radio singer, and leaves behind her sheltered existence as well as her past till the ghosts catch up with her again. What an unrealistic plot this was. But how life-affirming in its suggestion that perfect strangers could throw a life jacket just when you needed it the most. And we, the audience, also believed in the possibility of humanity and goodness in the most unlikely places. The same kind of naivety and faith in the inevitability of a just, safe, kind world exist in Lapata Ladies. At a time when gender atrocities in Manipur, Hathras, Kathua, BHU and Hassan have shocked us for a while and then slithered away from our consciousness. And so it was reassuring to see Phool, a young bride in the film, taking shelter in a shanty with two strangers, men, if you please, after she is separated from her husband. What Kiran Rao changes in this portion is the notion of a male savior who rescues a vulnerable woman at this point. The lost bride, hence, finds Manjumai, played by a masterful Chaya Kadam. And she's a woman who runs a tea and snack stall with an iron fist and a marshmallow heart. And Mai not only makes Phool see the world beyond her ghungat, the extent of her ignorance, her lack of agency, but also employs her, lets her taste the joy of earning her own money, and helps her to discover that more than compliance and docility, parents need to inculcate in their daughters resourcefulness and self-confidence. The kind that the other protagonist, Jaya or Pushpa Rani, has. The film's title is perhaps also indicative of the absence of women in male-centric mainstream entertainment, of women who are not just decorative, pliant, seductive, or suffering endlessly to justify their prominence in a narrative. If you want to see how differently men and women portray female characters, watch Imtiaz Ali's She and Maria Schrader's, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, her film called She Said. The woman in She is a manipulated, sexualized, brutalized being who finds her power in seduction. And She Said is the story, a real story, of two mothers who are also journalists who together write a piece that ended Harvey Weinstein's reign of horror and abuse. Lapata Ladies I found to be also pathbreaking in its intention to portray ordinary women as heroic. So they don't have to go through great degradation, oppression, and pain in order to qualify for greatness. They're not sacrificial mothers, avenging angels, or preoccupied with men or children. Manju Mai has in fact chosen to be alone because she doesn't feel obligated to give her earnings or her agency away to her family without receiving even basic respect. The younger women also choose the paths in the film that make them the happiest. Feminism here is articulated by women as the freedom to be who they really are. And like she said, and Unbelievable, another beautiful, powerful series on Netflix, this film also celebrates a rare thing in mainstream storytelling: sisterhood. And so the matriarchs in the film, who are always otherwise bickering, say to each other in the end if they can be friends, like the younger women in the family. Without screaming from rooftops, Lapata Ladies conveys how powerful, protective, and transformative female friendships and sisterhood can be. The genial policeman who turns the tables on an abusive husband in the end is a very obvious cinematic punch that was fun to watch, but perhaps doesn't belong in reality and belonged possibly in a Rishikesh Mukherjee film where perhaps a Shatrughan Sinha would have played him. It didn't really ring true, but then perhaps the audience needed to also meet a man without, or rather with some amount of power, who didn't misuse it. Perhaps a fairy tale ending that seems improbable was essential to remind young women on the margins that they too can find themselves if they are lost or have misplaced their power. And that brings me to Sanjay Leela Bhansali and Hira Mandi, another tale of, endless suffering for women. And I have not watched it and I don't intend to, but I'd like to just talk a little about the difference between how somebody like a Bhansali and a woman director, treats stories about women. The difference is staggering if you compare Bhansali with Kiran Rao. But let me just speak a little about Bhansali's work, because we've already spoken about or discussed Kiran Rao's work. There is very little originality in Bhansali land, if you really, really look closely. He's a revisionist, so to speak. He wants to be Guru Dutt, he wants to be Bimal Roy, K. Asif and Kamal Amrohi, and his filmography is packed with reference points from the past. His second film, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, revisited Wo Saat Din. Devdas was a more ornate remake of Bimal Roy's very Spartan version. Black was inspired by The Miracle Worker. Guzarish drew heavily from the 2004 Spanish film The Sea Inside. Bajirao Mastani had visual references from Mughal-e-Azam. And his latest Gangubai Kathiawadi, though a strong cinematic piece in its own right, somehow forgot to pay its debt to Shyam Benegal's 1983 classic Mandi, where themes of sisterhood, displacement, and societal hypocrisy were explored very, very effectively. So, another long-standing theme in Bhansali cinema is the glorification of female suffering and the necessity of women's sacrifice of some kind for a cause that is supposedly larger and more significant than their happiness. Except for Annie in his debut film Khamoshi the Musical, most of his female protagonists have been denied fulfillment and their sexuality has almost been erased. Take Gangubai, for example. She's a force of nature, but even she must give up the one man who truly loves her to commit to the women who depend on her. Sure, in the era of toxic heroes, Gangubai and her repartee, her self-possession and fearlessness were riveting. Alia Bhatt did give us a towering performance, and I was also glad that a woman-led film won not just critical acclaim, but drew huge crowds and was the top non-English film on Netflix globally. But do watch Mandi to see in retrospect just how path-breaking it was thematically and how brave. Incidentally, apart from powerhouses Shabana Azmi and Smita Patil, Mandi also had stalwarts like Neena Gupta, Naseeruddin Shah, Om Puri, Saeed Jafri, Annu Kapoor, Satish Kaushik, Pankaj Kapoor, Amrish Puri, Ila Arun, K.K. Raina, and yes, Alia's mom, Soni Razdan. With dialogues by Satyadev Dubey and Shama Zaidi, this story by Ghulam Abbas may still be the most definitive take on women who cannot be robbed of their humanity, their laughter, and their imperishable light, even by extreme debasement and dehumanization.
The Way We Were, where we revisit the past to understand how the ebb and flow of popular culture shapes the way we are. Only on The Podcaster.